What's going on, Internet? Welcome back to another episode of Nerdlocker, a place you're in a nerd. My name is Brandon.
And I'm Cubby.
And this is episode 68.
This week we got some Wolverine news, some Back to the Future news, and some Call of Duty news.
So let's get to it. What's going on, guys? We just want to give a shout out to New Flesh Prints.
Yeah, they're an Austin-based screen printing company that have some amazing artwork up right now, and they're doing some really, really awesome stuff around the city of Austin.
And to continue our streak of giving, we will actually be giving away a couple prints, so be sure to check the website and the Facebook for upcoming details on that.
And don't forget to read the article that we have on nerdlocker.com about them.
So even after Darren Aronofsky has left the film and the whole tsunami in Japan, they have finally announced a release date for The Wolverine.
It will be July 26th of 2013, and good news is we've still got Hugh Jackman attached to it, which is really good since that's the only reason anybody's really paying attention to this film at all anymore. But we have some promise because James Mangold has come in to direct it, and he's done some really good things. He did one of my favorite films, Walk the Line, and another great film, 3:10 to Yuma.
Which is actually one of my very favorite movies. And, I believe that if he takes Wolverine into the past and kind of goes into, where he's going to take this movie to Japan, and this would be perfect for him. And plus, they could always bring in the Muramasa blade. That would be awesome.
That would be. And I also like that he has a good relationship with Hugh Jackman because he's directed him before. 3:10 to Yuma, obviously, he had a great performance. And I would even say that he was really good in Kate and Leopold, which he also directed. So,
yeah, I don't know about that. But as far as this release date, The Wolverine doesn't have too much competition. I think, was it the only other movie it's got?
The Dirty Dancing remake.
Well, I have high hopes.
Come on, everybody's going to see that. Wolverine has no chance.
I don't believe that at all.
It's not true at all.
Let's call it the Havana Nights prequel.
So good news for Call of Duty fans. We've got another Call of Duty game coming out for sure.
Oh, man.
2012, and probably following like they usually do. It'll be the second week in November.
Yeah, I totally could not have predicted this because it hasn't happened for the last
November comes around.
7 years.
It's Call of Duty time.
It's Call of Duty time. They announced it last year at the Elite keynote. They kind of made it their claim. So I'm pretty sure for a good amount of time we're going to have it. As far as what the story is, we don't really know anything. We did hear rumors of Black Ops 2. Where would that take place? Who knows? Maybe in Russia.
Yeah, because the first
focused on
one
the
was
Cold War
mostly
more, and it was more of Vietnam and the Pacific. Maybe this could be more of Russia and Afghanistan. Before we kind of screwed all that stuff up. But
it's looking good though. I mean, Call of Duty's kind of at that point where it's not going to be a bad game. I mean, it's going to
be the same game.
Else.
It's going to improve on the same game physics and things like that. And being that it's Treyarch, or it might be Treyarch, it hasn't been announced who it's going to be. Infinity Ward just released the last one. So this one, probably Treyarch again. So you'll probably have zombies. They'll probably do some cool, action-y things that involved in the gameplay.
I can't wait to see the zombies, to be honest.
The zombies would be
They
cool.
did a good job in the last one, so I'd like to see how they up it this time.
Oh, yeah. It should be a lot more fun. I'm more excited for the story because they kind of have a better grasp on the story and making it more action-packed and a little longer, whereas the Infinity Ward, it's always more compact and
very
tight
quick play. I mean, how short was Modern Warfare 3?
I finished it in 5 hours.
Yeah, that was just
I finished it real quick.
one and done.
I was surprised how quick it was, but it was still enjoyable, whereas Black Ops actually took me 2
quite
days.
a while.
Or, it was hours-wise, it was not that bad, but it was 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay, nerds, let's talk Season 2, mid-season premiere of The Walking Dead.
And it is a big one. There's a lot of character building moments in this episode, including Rick and Carl. But there is a lot of talking in the episode, and it all stems from the episode 7 from the first part of season 2, where we find Sophia, and she's a zombie, and Rick kills her.
And I'd just like to interject really quick that I'm so glad that storyline is over. The search for Sophia was just dragging on and on.
Very daunting.
But the impact of that final scene, I was totally crying. I felt their pain. This whole thing that they had searched for, built up where they are there because of the search for Sophia, totally sad. Now, all this blame is getting thrown around. Everybody's like, oh, who's responsible?
So everybody's pretty much blaming Shane or blaming Rick for losing Sophia in the first place.
Always blame the leader.
That's where a lot of the talking is, but it eventually gets to a really, really good point in the show that I was hoping for.
The bar scene.
The bar scene. The bar scene is where basically Herschel is very depressed with what happened. He had to watch his wife die in that barn, in that whole shootout with Shane. And so now he goes to his local bar, which of course is in the middle of the city. Very, very dangerous.
Zombies walking all over. Duh.
So here comes Rick and Glenn to save the day. They come into town to try and get Herschel to come back to the farm with them. And they, catch up a little bit, but of course they're met with some wanderers.
Yeah, some real live people just wandering town. Kind of has a Western feel, It's kind of creepy, I think, because in zombie films, I like the tension that happens between living people, especially when they're strangers and coming from different groups. And you don't really feel it until the end of this whole scene, but you start that tension, that buildup is really awesome.
Yeah, you definitely don't feel the tension until the end. It's very comfortable in the first half of this conversation with these wanderers, where they just kind of share a drink and have fun, but then it quickly gets very awkward, and you see really cool moment at the end of the episode that just launches you to want to see some more. I swear, it's so good.
Yeah, and Rick is finally becoming a badass.
Yeah.
For me, Daryl has been kind of like the loner badass, and then Shane has been the leader badass, and now Rick is finally coming into his role as a badass, which I think is nice.
Another good addition is that Dale has actually started pushing that rumor that Shane possibly is a murderer. So that's very good that
Yes.
rumor's starting to roll. Plus, Carl starts to even be a badass himself.
Yep.
I was really interested in this episode, but I'm really interested in hearing what you guys have to say.
Let us know in the comments below.
Okay, so the day has come. You can finally get a hoverboard prop replica.
Yeah, it is a prop replica, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want to take my hoverboard out and ride it down the street.
I do.
Okay?
I absolutely do.
No, I want to put it in a shelf and
You're
make that
buying
shine.
a $500 snowboard, tiny snowboard. That's what you're doing.
It's not going to work like a snowboard, although I wish it
You
would.
can't hover though. I mean,
You would need completely magnetized streets. That's a lot of work, Brandon.
Yes, that's fine with me, dude.
But first, they have to get the hoverboard down, which they've done. Now we need magnetic streets. Let's work on
I'm just
this.
saying, I want a hoverboard. I mean, I saw this announcement that they're going to be making a hoverboard, and I'm like, yeah, hoverboard, but it's now we're not going to be able to ride it. It's not the same looking. It's like getting the McFly shoes, and then they don't zip themselves up.
Now listen. Here's where a little bit of confusion lies, though. They say that it is a prop replica. It's called a prop replica, but they also say that it glides. Now, I'm assuming it probably doesn't carry any weight to it, but it might still hover. You can't get on it.
But see, that would be
Imagine having that in your house, just hovering.
Yeah, but the thing is if I saw it hovering, the first thing I would do is step on that thing.
Hey, I don't know. I think it's worth it. I'll pay $600 for this just to have it in my house.
I'll come and look at your hoverboard.
Well, you're not standing on it.
That's what you think. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below.
All right, so we all know there's 2 live-action Snow White movies already in production right now.
So of course, Disney had to decide that this was the perfect opportunity to jump on the bandwagon and make their own.
Oh yeah, but it's not the traditional Snow White that we all know Disney for. It's actually going to be called Order of the Seven, and it's going to be about 19th century international warriors protecting an English woman in China from an ancient evil.
Now, I don't know about you, but this doesn't sound anything like the Snow White that I grew up with. I think it's interesting that Disney is completely going off of that movie that started their company, but I still think that it has potential.
Oh, same here. It sounds like an actually interesting story, very, very action-packed, and it could be really cool to look at. But the fact that it's kind of like insinuating that it's Snow White is putting a little bad taste in my mouth, but I'm still going to watch it. It sounds awesome.
I think people would have bought into it much more easily if it didn't have any.
If they
anything
didn't
to do
even
with Snow
mention
White.
Snow White, they'd just be like, it's called Order of the Seven. And then people would be like, you know what, that's like Snow White. And then that would have been cool, because it
Well,
would have been subtle.
I still am looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, me too.
So let us know what you think.
In the comments below.
What's going on, guys? We just want to give a shout out to Heather Sin. We recently did an interview with her on the website. Really awesome tattoo artist. You guys should check that out.
And she's crazy hot, so, you know, that's cool too.
Always a plus.
Always a plus.
What's going on, guys? Brandon here with my pick this week, and it is one of my favorite bands, Bad Rabbits. I got to see them here in Vegas Monday and Tuesday at the Cosmopolitan, and they are just such an explosive and energetic group on CD, and it carries over so well live. If you are not listening to these guys, stop what you're doing and download their music right now. Bad Rabbits.
My life has been consumed with a certain comedian this week, and I had to make him my pick of the week. Doug Benson has so many ways to get his comedy, and one in particular is his new comedy show called The Benson Interruption, basically where he sits in a chair and has some of his friends who are comedians stand up in front of him and try and tell jokes, and of course, he interrupts every chance he gets. I also want to say that his podcast is very good because most of his guests off of his podcast, called Doug Loves Movies, end up being on the show The Benson Interruption. I highly recommend it. I think you all should be watching this show. It's on Comedy Central.
Hey guys, Kelly here with my pick of the week. I'm picking Frankenhooker. Why? Because it's Valentine's week, and you need a good romantic movie to get your juices flowing. What? Frankenhooker, a romantic movie? Heck yeah, because in this movie, this guy loves his chick so much that he goes above and beyond to prove that. I'm not going to say anything more because I'm not going to ruin it, but you could probably surmise what happens. The movie is called Frankenhooker. Directed by Frank Henenlotter. You have to check it out.
Hey guys, this is Haley with my pick of the week, and it is going to be the upcoming West Memphis 3 movies. I got really excited a couple weeks ago when I found out that The Devil's Knot, a biopic about this case, would be coming out with Colin Firth and Reese Witherspoon. Now, if you don't know the story, definitely go check it out. It's really intriguing. But I got really excited when I found out that a couple weeks ago, Johnny Depp purchased the rights to the memoir by Damien Eccles. And because Johnny Depp was so heavily involved in this case, I know that that film is going to be phenomenal. So follow these films, watch them when they come out. I'm really excited to be watching these.
Hey there guys, Cubby here with my pick of the week, and it is going to be the movie Hall Pass. Now, I didn't see it in theaters. I was really excited to see it, but I didn't get a chance to watch it. So when it finally came on HBO, I was totally down to watch it, and holy crap, I was laughing my ass off the entire time. One thing that did kind of get me down on it was Owen Wilson. I think they could have picked a better actor for that role, but I'm not going to complain because he still did a pretty good job. Jason Sudeikis, though, amazing performance, hilarious, probably the best part of the movie. Cannot wait to watch this movie a couple more times. Definitely check it out, Hall Pass.
All right, Internet, that is going to do it for episode 68 of Nerdlocker. But until next week, be sure to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube page, and check out nerdlocker.com for all your nerdy news. My name is Brandon.
And I'm Cubby.
And you guys have a nerdy week.